Welcome to the TubeBuddy Express podcast, brought to you by TubeBuddy, the #1 tool to make your YouTube life easy. Each week, we discuss how you can utilize TubeBuddy to enhance your YouTube experience and make your life as a creator easier. And now, here's your host, Dusty Porter.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the TubeBuddy Express podcast. My name is Dusty Porter, the host of this wonderful show. If you're a longtime listener, welcome back. Get back in that saddle, sit back, grab a cup of joe, and listen to this episode. Or if you're a new listener, welcome. We are here to help you take your YouTube channel and YouTube content to the next level. And more importantly, help you get your message heard. If you don't know me, my name is Dusty Porter, as I mentioned at the top there. I host another YouTube-centric show called the YouTube Creators Hub podcast, where I interview creators just like yourself every single Wednesday, and I talk with them about the ins and outs of YouTube, what it has taken to get them to the point that they are now in their YouTube journey. And it's really a neat look behind the scenes of what goes on in a day-to-day life of a creator. So if you haven't already, check that out in the link or the description, the show notes of this podcast. It'll take you right there. If you haven't already, slap that subscribe button in iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, wherever you are consuming this podcast. That way, every Friday, that's right, every Friday, we are already 86 episodes in, headed, we can see episode 100 in the horizon. So we're just going to keep pumping out YouTube content every Friday for you to listen to over the weekend. And that way, when you hit it back on Monday, you're ready to start that YouTube grind. You are ready to roll with some new bits of information. As you can probably tell by the title of this show, we are brought to you by the fine folks over at TubeBuddy. TubeBuddy is that one browser plugin, that one tool that basically rules them all. TubeBuddy is always innovating. We are always releasing new tools, new elements of the browser plugin. You can click the link in the show notes to help me out, as well as help yourself, because you can get the free version, and then if you like it, which you probably will, you can go and download the paid version if that's something that interests you. Something that I've been using recently, and I just mentioned it in my other podcast, is I've been using the A/B testing for thumbnails. So I create two separate thumbnails, put the video out, upload the video, and TubeBuddy basically, distributes, thumbnail A and thumbnail B equally, and then this allows me to see which thumbnail is performing better. For someone like me who is in the midst of a channel rebrand graphically, this is a huge, huge tool that will help me know a lot sooner what's working and what isn't. And speaking of what is working and what isn't, we're going to be talking today. The topic today is this. Oh, by the way, guys, we had our biggest month ever in March of 2018. So this episode's coming out towards the tail end of March. The past 30 days has been the biggest as far as numbers wise on the TubeBuddy Express show, and it's because of you. We have you to thank for that. So today's topic is all about, it's not really about the imposter syndrome. It's more about, I want to encourage you and let you guys know that it's okay to look at your peers, to look at your fellow creators in your space, or maybe even outside of your space, and take notes and do what they're doing well. It's okay. You're not copying someone. And so that's kind of what we're going to dive into today. I want to give you a few different tools, not really tools, but a few different things that I like to do, maybe help you kind of get some ideas, spur some thoughts in your mind on maybe what you could do going forward with your channel. So number one point today is this. Sometimes it's okay to just go to basically the types of videos, the types of channels that the content you create, look at them and just sit back and take notes like you're in class. Like, if you don't think that I go and watch like Roberto Blake's videos or Nick Nimmin and what he's doing over there, or video creators, what Tim Smoyer's doing, you're crazy. Of course I do. Creator Fundamentals, Brian G. Johnson, Owen Video, these guys are in my space. They're in YouTube education. And so what I like to do, oftentimes on the weekend when me and my daughter are playing, she may be doing something on the side, and then I'll have my iPhone or my iPad, and I'll watch the recent videos from my space and from my niche, and I'm like, oh man, that's good, or ooh, I would do this a little differently. And see, what I'm able to do is I'm able to put together a list of things that I think they're doing well and what's helping them succeed, and a few things that I think I can improve on and add my flair or my personality to. Now, the thing is, a lot of times as creators, we get this thought, this mindset implanted in our mind that if we copy someone, it's like plagiarism. That's not true. How many people, if you look at Peter McMenamin right now, who is blowing up on YouTube, okay? He basically took the Casey Neistat basically model of vlogging. Yeah, he has his own style, his own personality, and he's put it on YouTube and he's blown up. He's exploded. And the reason is because he's taking something that has worked in the past. History cannot be unproven. History is facts. And so he's going through and he's seeing what's worked for Casey, he's seeing what's worked for all of these other vloggers, and he's taking bits and pieces and putting it into his channel, and you can see it's obviously working. And so you can't be afraid of the imposter syndrome is not what I'm talking about. It's more of the I'm worried about, I can't be that person. I can't be the authority in this niche or this space because this person already has it locked up. No. There would never be a LeBron James if he thought to himself as a young person, oh, well, Michael Jordan already has the greatest player of all time locked up, so why should I even strive to be great? No, he didn't think that. No, he went out, he worked hard, he played hard, and he's trying to strive to be as great and as good as he can possibly be. So as creators, I want to encourage you to do that. Don't worry about if you think, oh, there's this other person in fitness who's doing YouTube the best it possibly can be done, so there's no room in the space. What are you talking about? You're crazy. You know what you do? You go consume all their videos, you go consume their content, you take notes on their channel design, you take notes on their YouTube thumbnails, you go back to your channel, you start implementing those things they're doing well, and then you can pretty well notice what they're doing wrong, what they're doing incorrectly, and fix those things. Next thing you know, you're right up there with them. And you know what the funny thing about that is? When you get to the point to where you're starting to succeed, you and that channel, you and those people who you're in your peer group, which by the way, all those YouTube educators that I just mentioned, most of them I've had on my podcast, if not once, maybe twice, and if I haven't had them on my show, I'm going to have them on in the very near future. Why? Because we're not worried about competition. We're worried about getting our message heard. That's what we're worried about. We're worried about succeeding in our own space. Don't worry about the imposter syndrome. You can be your own authority. We all have our own personality. We're all unique in our own ways. You don't have to be just like person A or person B, but if they're doing something that's working, wouldn't it be kind of not smart to not try to implement those things? I mean, it's kind of common sense when you think about it. So that's point number one. Point number two is this. When you see things on the internet and you know that they're working, a lot of people go and do the opposite because they think that they have to be different. Difference and uniqueness and transparency, all of those are good adjectives and they're all good to be as a creator. But if you're just blatantly ignoring the fact, I see creators all the time that I come and they ask me to consult them and they're like, Dusty, I don't want to do this because this person's doing it, or person B who's very successful, they're doing it, so I don't want people to think that I'm trying to be just like them. Are you kidding yourself? Wouldn't that be great if you had the success of person A, B, or C who you're referring to? Yes, you're going to be different just in the fact that you are your own person. How many YouTube educators are there out there? Hundreds. How much room is there in the space? Plenty. There's plenty of space. So what I encourage you today to do is to listen to this episode. Stop getting caught up in, I can't do this because this person does it, or I can't do that because this person does it. No, what I want you to do is focus in on being and doing you, but implementing the things that are being successful in your space. You'd be crazy not to. Why wouldn't I listen to successful podcasts? Why wouldn't I try to listen to people like Tim Ferriss who are great interviewers and try to take some of the things that he does in his interviews to make them so dynamic? I wouldn't be doing my due diligence. I wouldn't be doing what I love, or I wouldn't be able to say that, hey, I'm trying to be the best that I can be if I don't go out and try to listen, consume the best, and then implement what they're doing. If I want to be the best podcaster, the best interviewer, which by the way is something I strive for, I want to be one of the best interviewers. I want people to listen to my interviews on my podcast and say, you know what? I don't really even care about YouTube, but this guy's interviews are so intriguing. He pulls out the story. He pulls out the things that I want to hear, the value. And that's what a good interviewer does. I can't do that by just resting on my laurels. I got to get out there, see who's interviewing. Joe Rogan, Tim Ferriss, these guys who are great interviewers. Even TV host, trying to be better. And if you're wanting to be a better YouTuber, you can't do that by just sitting back. You've got to consume. You've got to be a learner. You've got to be someone who's willing to pivot, willing to take things that you've done in the past and change them because other things are working. All right, I didn't mean to get on a soapbox there, but I kind of did because I'm really passionate about this topic. All right, guys, we're almost 10 minutes in. I like to keep these a little less than 10 minutes, kind of so they're bite-sized. So thank you so much for listening to this. If you haven't already subscribed to the show, don't forget to listen to my other podcast, YouTube Creators Hub. Go download TubeBuddy if you haven't already, and we will see you guys next week.